heartbreaking story of PACO, a poor, beset upon citizen of Washington State who was illegitimately kidnapped by ICE agents. At least that's the story as told by PACO's friend, Carissa Miller, in the Olympian newspaper of Olympian, Washington. But there's something wrong here. Something doesn't make sense. And this story takes a dark turn. The Olympian
published this headline along with a sketch of PACO. Lacy business owner abducted by ICE, according to online fundraiser by a journalist there named Rolf Boone. And it's got this sketch of, I guess, who I'm assuming is this Lacy business owner named PACO. And he's just a nice looking man with a cowboy hat on a cute little horse, okay?
The Olympian. Lacy business owner abducted by ICE. Online fundraising site says. Yeah. The owner of a mechanic shop in Lacey and a small organic farm was abducted by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, according to the online fundraising site GoFundMe. The campaign, which was created last month by co-organizers Carissa Miller and Anna Ortega, seeks to raise $10,000 for his legal defense and family. As of Tuesday morning, about $9,800 had been raised, the site shows. On June 24th, my close friend and neighbor, PACO, was abducted by ICE, the fundraising narrative reads. He was pulled over while riding passenger and removed from the vehicle without a warrant or receiving any information about why he was being detained. His wife tried to film the situation, but ICE wouldn't let her or answer any questions. According to the campaign, PACO was being held at the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, the narrative reads. His business are for sale. We are working hard to sell any assets to bring money in, but it is difficult without PACO here as the business and its assets are in his name, the campaign reads. If anyone wants to buy a mechanic shop and business, please let me know. They also describe PACO as an incredible friend and neighbor. I've seen him show up for his friends and family in the truest of ways. He came with me to get my first horse, pulled my truck out of a ditch at 11 p.m. when he had to be up at 5 a.m., always made time to stop and say hello, even when things were busy and hectic. No matter the weather, he would always say it was a perfect day. Even now, when we speak on the phone from detention, he said he needed a vacation anyways. Aww. I want to show his family and him that they are not alone, and even though they have been targeted and persecuted, they are loved and supported by so many more people than the ones that targeted them, the campaign reads.
Husband, friend, and local business owner abducted by ICE. Reminds me a lot of the news headline. It's like the news headline was based on the GoFundMe headline. $12,365 raised as of this morning. 201 people have donated to this campaign. And the narrative that they post with it is exactly what was published by the Olympian. No last name for PACO. No further information about his business, which they say is for sale because it's such a dire situation that they now have to sell all of his assets. We don't even know what the mechanic shop is called. We don't know what the small organic farm is called. We know nothing. And the only picture is this sketch of, I guess, who we assume to be PACO and his horse, the same picture used by the Olympian newspaper.
And this is the woman who started the GoFundMe.
So yesterday, my close friend and neighbor was abducted by ICE, and I feel like it's important to share what happened because things are changing really quick. And it's just good to be informed on how this kind of stuff is going down. So yesterday morning, I got a text message from my neighbor who live on the same street as me. We live at the end of a gravel road that's next door to the farm that my friend who was abducted farms at. And there was two unmarked black vehicles with tinted windows. They were Jeeps. They were new. They matched. And I immediately was worried it was ICE. Later that day, I got a call from his wife. She was very upset. They had pulled him over, which was interesting because his farm, they knew where his farm was because they were staking it out. And they knew where his place of work was. And they pulled him over, my guess, because they didn't have a warrant to enter his home or his workplace. So they pulled him over, didn't ask any questions, pulled the phone out of her hand when she tried to record. They didn't go after her, who speaks no English. My guess is because he is a business owner in town and he pays taxes and has been. He's complained to me, or not necessarily complained, but told me that yes, non-U.S. citizens pay quite a bit more in taxes, and he's been doing that for years. His business is legal and here, and which is upsetting, especially because he's participating in capitalism. He's paying those exorbitantly high taxes, and that is what put him in jeopardy. That's my update. I don't really know what else to say.
Huh, wow. She seems completely believable, right? I definitely say a trusted source.
So I just got off the phone with my friend who's in the Northwest Detention Center, and I figured I would just send some updates on what's happening there. So he said when he arrived there was 50 people, and now there's 2,000 people.
Oh, wow. That's quick.
He told me that he didn't have a plate. He needed a plate, and he didn't have enough socks or underwear. And he said that he had a court date originally scheduled, but they canceled it. He also told me that most of the people there are getting picked up like he did on the street without a warrant. They're not coming into people's homes. They're not coming into their places of work. They're just pulling them over and pulling them out of the car is mostly what he's saying he's hearing from people.
And about 2 days later...
So PACO isn't PACO at all. PACO is a man named Yusef Zarate Bourbon, a Mexican national. Here is his booking photo from Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Can we see it, Nicole? There it is. So we went from PACO, the sketch of the man on the horse, to PACO, the real picture behind the sketch, to Yusef Zarate Bourbon, a Mexican national arrested by Homeland Security investigations and the U.S. Marshals for, well, being in the country illegally, but also because he's wanted for murder in his home country. 34 years old, he's a Mexican citizen. He entered the U.S. on a tourist visa. How many times have we heard that story? Came to the U.S. on a tourist visa, not came to the U.S. seeking asylum or anything like that, entered the U.S., oh, I'm just a tourist. And he never freaking left. Turns out he's wanted for murder. Now, I have to assume, and we're trying to get additional information from ICE, that warrant for murder out of Mexico wasn't present when he came into the U.S. on a tourist visa, or I think he would have been picked up at that time. And then he wasn't arrested by ICE. There are different factions that perform different tasks. He was arrested by the U.S. Marshals and Homeland Security investigations. So that's who picked him up. Yes, near his farm that does exist. He does have a farm. It's called Zarate Farms. So they picked him up out there. He's now awaiting deportation. And by I would say an hour or so after we had broke the news that PACO is Yusef and he was wanted for murder, this Carissa Miller woman starts to go dark on social media. So as of right now, the GoFundMe page is down. And also her Instagram page, where she was posting these videos about this horrible thing that happened to PACO, nuked. We heard from GoFundMe this morning. They said, what we can tell you right now is that we took the fundraiser down. So GoFundMe nuked the fundraiser overnight based on our reporting and the fact that they weren't able to confirm essentially the story that she was telling. I do believe that means that the money will be refunded.
The Olympian is a daily newspaper based in Olympia, Washington. It is owned by the McClatchy Company and publishes a daily printed edition. I see the Olympian has no qualms about spreading disinformation, another mainstream media source involved in the propaganda effort.